Hello, MCU fans. Today we're going to take a look at the question of which MCU entries may be getting the axe. In a recent interview, Bob Iger said he's looking at Disney as a whole, Star Wars, Pixar, but also Marvel, to determine what TV shows and movies may never see the light of day. I think you're going to find this a really interesting conversation, and I definitely want your feedback in the comments. So let's dive right in and see what we can find out. Don't forget, we have the March contest running all month long. Be a subscriber, leave a comment. You might win a book or a steel book. Best of luck. And we have the membership option in case you want to help me with my goal of doing this full time one day. You get lots of cool custom perks, such as behind the scenes videos. But honestly, no matter how you support the channel, it's all greatly appreciated. Leaving comments, liking videos, subscribing, it all goes a long way. So thanks so much. So associated with this YouTube channel, we have a Discord server, and I'll talk more about it at the end because we'd love to have you join us. But we have a suggestions area, and I really want to thank Crim Reaper for this great idea for a video. He asked me my opinion on what things may be canceled based on this new quote from Bob Iger. Iger said, "You have to kill things you no longer believe in. And that's not easy in this business because either you've gotten started, you have some sunk costs, or it's a relationship with either your employees or the creative community. It's not an easy thing, but you got to make those tough calls. We've actually made those tough calls. We've not been that public about it, but we've killed a few projects already that we just didn't feel were strong enough." So, where did this quote come from? Well, it's from a recent Hollywood Reporter article from just a few days ago with the title of "Bob Iger Pushes Back on Marvel Fatigue, but Says Disney Quietly Canceled Movies." So that kind of implies Marvel's got some stuff on the chopping block. So Iger said in that interview, "A lot of people think it's audience fatigue. It's not audience fatigue. They want great films. And if you build it great, they will come, and there are countless examples of that. Some are ours, and some are others. Oppenheimer's a perfect example of that, just a fantastic film." And then this is key. He said, "Focus is really important. We've reduced the output of Marvel, both number of films they make and number of TV shows, and that really becomes critical. But I feel good about the team." Then he finished by saying, "I feel good about the IP we're making. I talked about a lot of the projects. We look years ahead, really, and it's iterative." So notice he's talking about reducing the number of shows and movies. So maybe these are things that have already been filmed and completed. Maybe they're things in progress, or maybe, as he said, they think years ahead. So maybe some of these were just ideas that were thrown out there. We've heard rumors of them because actors or actresses talk about them, YouTubers, Reddit, etc. So we're going to take a look at what we know about Phase 5, Phase 6, and even some of the rumored ideas out there to see which of these may be cut. All right. So we're going to start obviously with Phase 5. Now what I've done on this is anything that's a show is in yellow and anything that is a movie is in red. And obviously we have official release dates for the movies, and then the shows are just approximately when they're going to come out. Some of these are guesses, but they're all things we have been told are coming, definitively coming. So the question is, are any of these things on the chopping block? Well, obviously the stuff that's already come out won't get canceled. Maybe we wish Madam Web had been canceled, but it's already come out. But I notice we do have the Sony stuff on here as well. But what on here may be canceled? Honestly, the only thing I think is the Witches Road special presentation. And I don't even know that I would call it canceled. I think it's going to be rolled into Agatha's show, whatever Agatha's show ends up being called. I have Covenant of Chaos on here, but it's had many names. But basically, I think it was pulled out separately to be a special presentation, and since Marvel's moving away from those, it wouldn't make any sense to suddenly release one. So I think it's going to be folded back into Covenant of Chaos, but anything that would have happened in it, we're still going to ultimately see. So let me know your thoughts. Is there anything on this part of Phase 5 that you think may be canceled? All right, now let's look at the rest of Phase 5. So once again, we have a Sony movie there with Beyond the Spider-Verse. I'm just guessing spring of 2025. I have no idea on that one. But obviously it's going to happen. I just don't know when. But okay, so what on here may be in danger? Well, Ironheart is interesting. Ironheart is done. I mean, it is totally completed, yet they keep kicking it down the road. Now, I had wondered if maybe that's because there just aren't many shows coming out in 2025. So it may not be a sign of it not happening. I don't think they're going to Batgirl it, I guess is the key. Many of you probably know Batgirl. DC just spiked the movie, got rid of it. It's never going to see the light of day. I don't think that's Feige's style. I mean, there were rumors he was disappointed with a little bit of how Echo turned out, but they worked on it, they changed it, and they released it, and I thought it was pretty good. So I think Ironheart will ultimately come out in summer 2025. Another one potentially on the chopping block is Wonder Man. Now, this one isn't finished, but it is being filmed as we speak. I really hope it happens because this was going to expand the West Coast Avengers, expand the team, and maybe even the concept. I'd love it, in fact, if we got a West Coast Avengers team coming out of the series. So, fingers crossed that still happens. My opinion is all of these things are still going to happen. So, really, with all of Phase 5, the only thing I see going is the Witch's Road special presentation folding into Agatha Covenant Chaos. But again, let me know your thoughts. Okay, now let's look at Phase 6. So, we have been given some official movie release dates and movies in them, and there's been discussion about different shows. Sometimes it was an actor discussing it, like Oscar Isaac talking about Moon Knight 2, Shang-Chi 2, etc. Other times, just rumors. But yeah, so let's look at these and see what we think may get canceled. Okay, so Blade. Let's talk about Blade. I really think they're going to make Blade work. They have been trying so hard. The recent reports have been that it's going well. Mahershala Ali likes the direction things are going. I do think they want to do a Midnight Suns, which we'll talk about in a moment. So, and it's a good way to just kind of wrap all of these, Man-Thing and Ghost Rider, etc. Who knows who may appear in here? We may even have Black Knight, Dane Whitman show up. So I think it's going to happen, but let me know your thoughts on that. Another one at risk is Armor Wars. Is Armor Wars going to happen? I mean, I honestly think it's the culmination of the political / street level storylines. But, Secret Invasion wasn't really received very well. And it kind of was pushing this, the idea of Rhodey being a Skrull. I think it was going to be resolved in Armor Wars. But if nobody cares, then do they still do it? But then also, I think Damage Control was going to appear. And we've seen how Damage Control has been really sketch throughout Phase 4 and Phase 5. So I just think a lot of things were culminating with this. I think it's still going to happen. But let me know your thoughts. Now, Kang Dynasty. Obviously, it's not called Kang Dynasty. I know that, but I don't know what to put. And plus, that really rings a bell in people's minds of what we're talking about here. So it's not going to be Kang Dynasty. The plot's going to totally change, but I do think we're going to get an Avengers movie on May 1st of 2026. Why? Well, because it's been 7 years since we had an Avengers movie. There's no way they're going to kick this can down the road any further. They need an Avengers movie big time. So I think that is going to happen. Totally different title, but it's going to happen. Okay, Vision Quest. This is the first one that may get canceled. I love the idea. I was really excited to see where the storyline would go, but similar to Witch's Road, I don't know that it's going to be canceled. It may just be folded into the Young Avengers show. So let's talk about Young Avengers. I really think we're going to get Young Avengers. I cannot imagine, after all the setup over the last several years, they're not going to give it to us, especially with the Marvels giving us the huge setup where Kamala Khan is literally talking to Kate Bishop and mentioning Cassie Lang and talking about forming a team. It would just be crazy to not give this to us. I think it'll be a TV show instead of a movie, and it'd be great if Vision showed up in that and was kind of helping guide the team. Wonder Man could then show up. So I really think it's going to happen, but let me know your thoughts on that. As for Shang-Chi, I think I discussed that briefly, but Shang-Chi 2 and Moon Knight 2 and Doctor Strange 3, I think those are all vital, and the actors have talked about it a lot, so I think those are going to happen. But Miss Marvel, I'm worried about Miss Marvel. You look at the fact that Miss Marvel's TV show was the lowest rated TV show, even though I thought it was really good. And then the Marvels movie is the lowest rated movie. So that's kind of two strikes against Kamala getting a second season. But if Kamala is featured in Young Avengers or whatever they end up calling it, then maybe that suffices and we don't need a Miss Marvel season 2. So my guess is we're not going to get that. So let's talk about Secret Wars. So I think a couple different possibilities here. If they keep Secret Wars on May 7th of 2027, it's going to be part 1. Because I think a part 2 is going to be in 2028. And we'll talk more about a 7th Avengers movie then. Because wouldn't it be great to have an Avengers movie in 2026, 27, and 28? That would be awesome. I also think Feige wants to complete Phase 6 in 2028 because it's 20 years after Iron Man 1. Perfect. It's just perfect timing. And also by having either this movie move forward a year or be split into 2 movies, it gives us more room for some of these other movies. So let's talk about some of these other movies. I don't think we're getting World War Hulk. Mark Ruffalo himself implied it's not happening. That's a bummer. But I don't think he would say that unless he was trying to set expectations of folks. It's just not going to happen. That's a bummer. But I do think we're going to get Thor 5 and Eternals 2. They're both going to be very, very tonally different. for different reasons. There were different issues with each movie that why they didn't resonate with everybody as well as they should have. But I do think Hemsworth deserves a fifth and final story. I think we're going to get that. And there were so many plot lines, so many important plot lines set up in the first Eternals movie. They're going to give us a second one. So that's my opinion there. Let me know your thoughts on what you think will happen to Phase 6. Do you think it's going to expand into 2028 and that thus to allow a Thor 5 and an Eternals 2 to fit in? Or do you think it's going to still end in 2027? All right, so now let's move to some of the rumored titles, which again, these are things that either the actress have talked about or YouTubers or Reddit, etc. So first, let's look at the movies. A Scarlet Witch solo movie, Avengers Forever, that might be the Avengers 7 I was alluding to in 2028, Black Panther 3, and Nova. I think if we get Nova, it's going to be a movie. So I do think it's going to happen. I just don't know where it's going to happen, and I think it's relying on the fact that we need Phase 6 to move all the way to 2028. So we got those movies. Then we got shows, Midnight Angels, Midnight Suns, Strange Academy, 10 Rings, and She-Hulk Season 2. Then we have the animated shows, X-Men 97 Season 2 and Season 3, and Spider-Man Sophomore Year. All of those have been discussed. And then all of these special presentations, at one point or another, have been discussed. Abomination, Mephisto, Man-Thing, Sentry, Kang, Ghost Rider, Illuminati, Nomad, and Silver Surfer. Oh my word. So what do I think is going to happen with all this stuff? Okay, so first the movies. I think they are going to find a way to fit these movies in. It's not going to be easy, but I think they want all of them to happen. I guess it's possible Black Panther 3 and Nova could be after Secret Wars, so in Phase 7. That's possible. But I definitely could see Scarlet Witch and Avengers Forever being part of Phase 6. So I think all of them are going to happen in one way, shape, or form. All right, TV shows, though, man, we're going to see a lot of these canceled. I was looking forward to every one of these 4 shows and the characters in them, but they can resolve them in other ways. Okoye, I think, was going to be in Midnight Angels. Well, Okoye can be in Black Panther 3. Chavez training would have been great, but maybe we just do Doctor Strange 3 and that's where she shows up next. Or Young Avengers. The 10 Rings could be resolved in Shang-Chi 2, and obviously She-Hulk can show up really anywhere, but I think we'll see She-Hulk in Avengers 5. Then I do think Spider-Man Sophomore Year is not looking promising. I mean, freshman year has taken forever to come out. Now, if we get it, I'm fine. If we get Sophomore Year, great. But I could see that on the chopping block. And then these special presentations, oh man, they're not going to happen. In fact, I'm leaving 3 on here, but I could see even these 3 getting canceled. The reason I'm leaving these 3 is I really, really, really want a Ghost Rider show, even if it's just a one-shot type thing. But again, we may get him in Midnight Suns because I do think we're going to get Midnight Suns. I forgot to mention that. Sorry. There's no way we're not getting Midnight Suns. That's been set up for quite some time. And maybe that's what they do with Ghost Rider. So he doesn't get his own show. He shows up in Midnight Suns. Nomad is supposed to be Steve Rogers returning the stones. Please, Marvel, please, 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 can we get that? So we'll see. And then Silver Surfer, that was supposed to be filmed at the same time they did Fantastic Four, and then we were going to get kind of like his origin in a special presentation. I don't know. Maybe that's not happening either. So let me know your thoughts. What do you think about the things I've got here with a red X? Am I right? Am I wrong? And then is there anything else you've heard of that I haven't mentioned? I've tried to include every single thing that's ever been fantasized about. Obviously there's going to be X-Men movies and those things. Those are all going to be in Phase 7. Those are clearly going to happen. But what about these things that theoretically would be in Phase 5 or Phase 6 or maybe scoot a little bit into Phase 7? Is there anything I've left out? Let me know your thoughts. Notice 15 things. I've counted 15 things that are getting axed. 15 ideas. That is a lot. But even so, we still have lots to look forward to. I'm very excited about the MCU. I'm glad they're cutting back content. There was way too much. It's painful to see some of those things go, but there's a lot of great stuff ahead. So I'm excited. Tell me your thoughts. Are you excited for the years to come? Don't forget, March contest. Be a subscriber, leave a comment. Might get a book or a steelbook. And of course, we have the membership option in case you're interested in that. And then I discussed the Discord earlier. We'd love to have you join. Almost 1,300 members from across the globe, conversations happening 24/7, and then we have so many different activities. There's watches, as you can see here. We have Comic Club, MMRPG, DC retrospectives all through March. We have a special icon you can get if you watched Madam Web, and if you admit to it. I saw it. Obviously, I did a video on it. It's not that bad. It's It's not very good. But anyway, if you see Madam Web, let us know, and we'll give you a special icon role. Also, while we mainly talk about Star Wars, DC, and Marvel, you can go to the other media forum and set up anything you want. So music, community, Sonic, Dune, you name it. It's all out there. And then one of the cool things we're going to do is a contest for people that want to help improve my thumbnails on my videos. I kind of like the one for this video finally, but most of my thumbnails aren't that great. I admit it. So if you would like to help improve my thumbnails, I am going to do a video on Moon Girl Season 2 when it comes out. So we just kind of picked that one randomly because we think it'll be a fun one, very creative one. So if you have a thumbnail that you would like me to use for my video, I will call it out, let everyone know who created it, and I will use it in the video. But most importantly is Discord is so much fun. So I will leave a pinned comment so you can join the Discord. Would love to have you be part of it. Also, if you don't mind, like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. You can check out more content, and we'll all continue to enjoy the ever-growing, ever-changing Marvel Cinematic Universe.